Welcome back to the Obsessed with Pickleball podcast. I'm Jane. I'm obsessed with pickleball, and we have so much to talk about today. I just got back from San Clemente a couple of days ago after watching Major League Pickleball tournament, and the week before that, I was at the PBA tournament, which I did touch on. But this MLP tournament was so fun. One of the most fun ones I've ever been to, and I think it was my fifth. So I can't wait to tell you guys everything that went down. I was like, is something in retrograde? Because it was just info and drama and just like juicy moments, but we will get into that. Every year, I'm like, June is going to kill me. It's the craziest month. And this month was like the craziest. I moved in the very beginning of the month. The whole month is Pride. I live in West Hollywood, so it's crazy here. And happy end of Pride to anyone who was celebrating. And then on top of that, I played in 3 pickleball tournaments and attended 2. And when I attend tournaments, it's not like a casual situation, okay? I'm staying there the whole day. I'm paying super close attention. I'm staying overnight. I know the matches I want to go to. It is serious business. So I am so exhausted but still looking forward to next June. I mean, I'm tired. This month, July, I'm doing a lot of traveling. We have an MLP tournament coming up this weekend, which we can chat about. And then in August, I'll be back in San Clemente for the playoffs, which I'm so excited about. Like, if you have gone to an event this year and you think it's fun, imagine that, but like turbo time, because it's all the best teams and it's the playoffs and the stakes are insanely high. Great. So let's get into this weekend's tournament. I do have DUPR updates, but I'm going to leave that for the end. And to give you a little teaser, I have deleted my app. So if that tells you anything about the update that you're going to get, keep it in mind. So this weekend, MLP San Clemente, we have the LA Mad Drops, the home team. We have the SoCal Hard Eights. We have Columbus Sliders, Brooklyn Pickleball Team, Phoenix Flames, and that is it for the premier level. Oh, and the Utah Black Diamonds. So going into this tournament, all eyes were on the LA Mad Drops. 1, it is kind of their home tournament. 2, they were coming off like an undefeated event where they really solidified themselves as a top team. Before the last event, I think they weren't even like counting them as necessarily a playoff team. And then all of a sudden they were in the discussion of, are they the 4th best team? And this weekend they did well, but they took some losses. They had to go to Dream Breakers way too much. And now they've moved down into the standings under Brooklyn and the Sliders. This is not surprising to me. I think on paper, those 2 teams are better. But the LA Mad Drops have like a lot of chemistry and definitely like big ways to win. I think they're the hardest Dream Breaker team. So we'll get into their strategy and everything like that. But let me just quickly talk about what happened at the tournament. So the first day, I didn't get down there until like kind of the end of the Phoenix Flames against the Utah Black Diamonds because I'm physically incapable of being anywhere on time. So that's that. But I got there right for the Dream Breaker. And the Phoenix Flames are kind of the stars of this weekend in the sense of drama. Lots went down between Genie and Jessie, which we'll get to. But they're starting to slowly, like, you can't be a vibes team forever. They have good players. They shouldn't be bad. The Utah Black Diamonds aren't like one of the super low teams. They have potential of making it to the playoffs. So the fact that the Phoenix Flames could double up on them is great. Quickly touching on the first game of the day, the Mad Drops versus the Hard Eights. The Hard Eights took the Mad Drops to a Dream Breaker, which is crazy. But Ryan Fu and Blaine Havenier beat Kwang Duong and Hunter Johnson. And all I took from that is like Ryan Fu is very good. Blaine is really like energetic and flashy, but inconsistent. And Ryan was really, really, really blowing me away. And then they go to the Dream Breaker, and the Mad Drops just demolish them. So yeah, the Mad Drops Dream Breaker team is crazy, but that was surprising that I kind of didn't plan on going up there at 11 a.m. because first of all, that's insane to get anywhere by 11 a.m. And also I had to work, look it up, and because I thought it was going to be just a complete wash, but it wasn't. It was insane. Then we go into the Phoenix Flames versus the Utah Black Diamonds, and there's just so many storylines there. First of all, what are the Flames doing? We don't know. Second of all, never forget the Tyler Tyson rivalry. You know what I'm saying? So this ends up going to a Dream Breaker. Jack Sock and Tyson McGovern do beat Tyler Loon and Connor Garnett, but Tyler Loon gets his revenge in the Dream Breaker going up against Tyson, and they come away with that 21-18. Now, this is a tough loss for the Flames, and I'll tell you why. They were up in that Dream Breaker. I remember watching it and being like, well, first of all, I'm in Maddie Pickles' like pick me situation league. And I was like, the Flames refuse to win. Like, they're betting on themselves. I don't know. So I'm going to go Black Diamonds over Flames. Like, putting my money on the Flames would be crazy. So then I'm watching this Dream Breaker when I first get there, and the Flames are beating the Black Diamonds. And the Black Diamonds don't have, like, a better Dream Breaker team than the Flames, I wouldn't say. I mean, I think, like, Genie Irvine is better than Jessie, but Genie Bouchard should beat Elise, like things like that. And then the men are pretty even. So I was like, I can't believe that the Flames decide to win when it's going to affect my picks. But then don't worry, the Flames flamed it out and somehow dropped that game and get beaten the Dream Breaker. And I was like, okay, I was right to just let them beat themselves. So that was a really missed opportunity for the Flames to grab a big win. They need to start beating these lower level teams if they want to have any traction. Do I think that they're in a place where they can still make the playoffs? No, I don't know. Okay, then we go to the last game of the day, and the Columbus Sliders just demolish the Hard Eights. And it's interesting to see that because it's kind of showing this is the first sign that the Sliders are a very reliably good team. Like, you know what you're going to get to them. They're not hot and cold. I think they're predictable in the matches that they win. So, great. Fun day. Awesome. Then we come up to Saturday, you guys. This was one of the most fun MLP matches, games, days I've ever been to. So, the first game is the Utah Black Diamonds versus the Mad Drops. Tyler and Genie get a win over Cutie and Catherine. Great. But that's game 4. You kind of look at it and you're like, wow, what is going on? Like, Catherine and Cutie get beat kind of easily. Like, I mean, 7-11, but they're always behind. But that fourth mixed match is kind of hard, right? Like, you have no stakes. So do you play as hard? I don't know. Now, while that match is going on, the drama starts with Jessie and Genie Bouchard. Now, I have some inside scoop. On this day, on Saturday, I don't know what was in the water, but everybody was telling me gossip. Like, things that I had heard were confirmed, and things that I didn't want to believe were confirmed, and other things I didn't know about. Like, some new news that will be reflected later. But here's the deal. I will not, like, repeat or, like, get in the weeds of, like, weird personal drama because people's personal lives I don't think are necessary to get in on, even though apparently there's a lot going on there. But the Genie Jessie drama is, first of all, out there, and second of all, it's pickleball related. So it is what it is. I think a lot of people overheard it, so this wasn't like anything crazy. They were just out in the open, just like having this argument. Here's the gist of what happened. Now, this is a third party telling me, so I don't know all of this is true. But essentially, Genie and Jessie were warming up, and Genie wasn't taking it as seriously or being as intense as Jessie would want. And I think that's probably like a carryover from a lot of things. The Flames are a vibes team. So you're watching these tournaments, and what's funny is that if Genie does something good, like one good play, her teammates like erupt in applause. And it's kind of funny, but I don't think it's funny to Jessie. Jessie wants to win. Jessie is a veteran. Jessie's into her career, right? These players who are vets, like this sounds bad, but like they have to constantly be fighting for relevance. And this is not a diss on anything about Jessie as a player. I think everyone deals with it. I think Catherine Parento deals with it. I think a ton of the male players deal with it. Like, there's just always a hot new person coming in. And I mean, even at the same time, like you have, and now that it's so competitive, it's like making people who used to make quarterfinals and semifinals all the time aren't doing that anymore. And if they're out of the conversation, that just makes it harder for everything. So Jessie's like, this is my career. This is what I put my whole life into. Like, please take it seriously. And Genie's like, I was a professional tennis player for a quadrillion billion years. I have tons of money. This pickleball thing is fun. I am trying. I don't think she's not trying. I want to be clear. But I think it doesn't have the same importance to her. So that's a vibe that I've always gotten. And I've always been like, what are they doing? Whoa. But I'm like, they're just vibing. And it's clear that the Proton guys want to have like a flashy team that people know about and follow to also like get their paddles out there. And Genie just sided with Proton, so it makes sense that she's on the team. And getting Genie to have Proton is a big deal. See, I don't get it because I don't know anything about tennis, but people say like, oh, Genie's good for the sport. Jack Sock, I hear his name around. Like when I'm on the bus going to the tournament, people are like, oh, Jack Sock's playing, Jack Sock. I have never heard anyone be like, oh, Genie Bouchard, ever. I don't know anyone who cares. But again, that's just like my niche pickleball world because I know pickleball players, not tennis players, so whatever. But I think this frustration in Jessie has been building for a while. And if I was Jessie and I was put on a team that I had no control over and I was essentially set up to lose, to fail, set up to be put in a dream breaker every time when I don't play singles, no matter how well I play in doubles, like it would be hard to continue to be motivated and care. So essentially what we're hearing is Jessie said something to her that wasn't kind and gentle. Let's say that she was frustrated with Genie and said something. I don't know what she said, so I'm not going to make any kind of assumptions. She's frustrated with Genie because Genie's not warming up correctly. She says something, and essentially, I don't know if they go back and forth. There's a little back and forth, and Genie's like, you need to apologize to me. And Jessie's like, no, I don't. I don't have to play with you. And leaves, walks away. Now, that we know. We know for sure that Jessie was like, I don't have to play with you, and leaves. And then what happens next is Genie says, I have been playing professional tennis for 25 years. I have had to play with so many different partners. You don't always control who you play with. But I have a huge platform. What platform does she have? So this is so funny, okay? And then Jessie leaves and doesn't play in their match. Drama. It's like, what does this mean for the Flames? So Jessie leaves the building. And it's like, okay, what's going to happen? Because we haven't seen yet a situation of like in-team fighting like this. I'm sure it's happening. But honestly, I'm not surprised. So then we come up and the Flames lose to Brooklyn. Alex Walker takes over for for Jessie. And ultimately they win it. They lose 3-1, which I think they would have lost 3-1 anyway. Like, I bet Jessie was like, we're not going to beat this Brooklyn team. And you want me to go out there with Genie Bouchard and play Rachel Rohrabacher and Jackie Kawamoto, and you want me to be happy about it. And even if the boys are able to win, and even if me and Tyson are maybe able to beat them, then I have to go to a dream breaker where we're probably going to lose that. I mean, I can understand the frustration. Like, at least give me a fighting chance. So Jessie leaves, the Flames lose. I don't know if you guys could have heard that, but my cat was shaking this psychotic ball everywhere and I couldn't focus. So the Flames lose. And everyone is like, what is going to happen? Because they have more games. They have another game coming up later that day, and Jessie's gone. So it's like, okay. So I guess the Flames are just rolling with Genie and Alex. Now, obviously, a lot of chit-chat happens around this. And I don't go on Facebook because I hate reading comments that people make where people are just mean and nasty. So a lot of people have made the comment that Jessie has been in the past, it has been said that Jessie's a difficult partner. I'm not going to argue that one way or the other because I don't know. I've played with difficult partners exist. But at the same time, she seems like a great partner to a lot of people. So maybe just personalities didn't mesh. But a lot of people will go after Jessie, insulting like her resting face, her attitude, without knowing her. And I can't help but think there's a little racial element to this of like, oh, Jessie's aggressive, Jessie's mean, blah, blah, blah. This is a stereotype that has been passed to Black women in the past, passed on. So without disagreeing whether or not she's a difficult partner, I will say that I would find it very challenging to play with somebody who is clearly drafted because of her social media presence and her fame, who doesn't want to take playing seriously. I can imagine that I would have the same response. Now, do I think it's cool for Jessie to abandon her team? No. But I also wonder if she's like, my team doesn't care. Why should I care? It's really the start of something crazy, you guys. So, and I mean, here's the deal. What Genie said isn't not true, okay? Like, Genie can say, I'm on Jessie's side and Genie's side, because here's what I want to say about Genie. It's not her fault she got drafted. And she's never pretended to be anything different. She hasn't like gone on some kind of press tour about her training schedule and then not been training, or you know, she knows that she was brought in because she's good for the sport. She's well known. PPA loves her. PPA loves having her on the tour. For the first month of her career, she was on championship court every single tournament. And she's never once made it seem like she's pretending to try hard and not, okay? It's not her fault. She didn't have to get drafted. The Flames drafted her because she's famous, okay? It's not her fault. It's their fault. So what's going to happen next? That's the question. Well, the next match after that is the Sliders versus the Black Diamonds. Sliders take it easily. Sliders are showing why a lot of people have them in as number 4. I had them in as number 4 for a while too. Between Brooklyn and Sliders, like seeing, it was kind of going to come down to like Riley Newman, to be honest, if he could elevate, because I think the Brooklyn women win. I think the Sliders men win. And then I think Andre and Paris versus Deckel and Rachel is tough. And then Riley and Jackie versus CJ and Leia can go either way, right? So it's like who is going to step up? It's just like a very evenly matched team. So then we get to the end of the day, and the Flames play the SoCal Hard Eights, and that goes to a dream breaker, and the Flames at the end are able to pull it out. Huge win for the Flames after a tough day. So now you're Jessie. You're home, you're in your hotel, whatever, and you're like, oh, now my team, you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, without me, they were able to win that dream breaker. And I think an issue that they have had on the Flames is that they can make it to a dream breaker, but they can't win a dream breaker. And when you have people on your team like Tyson and Jack, you want to win dream breakers. So that's how Jessie ends her day. Now, my day on Saturday is even more fun. I'm watching these awesome matches. I'm hearing this awesome little gossip. I'm getting new gossip I've never heard before. And like, you guys, I love juicy gossip. Even if I don't want to share it, like I love having it in my head. I see a ton of people there that I know because, you know, it's a local tournament for me. I mean, like an hour and a half, but still. I get to hang out with a lot of people that I haven't hung out with in a social situation. Everyone is just having so much fun. And I have been having so much fun at pickleball tournaments for 4 years. Like, to me, they're just, you go, you sit in the sun all day, you watch it, maybe have a beer, maybe have a canned margarita that's 12%, and we'll just do you in. You look at the merch tents, you walk around, you check out the vendors, and you're just kind of like hanging out where the players are hanging out, and it's really fun. I was fortunate enough to have some friends who are, you know, like associated a little bit with the Mad Drops. They were able to hook me up with a hat, hook my friends up with some tickets, which was so nice. So now I'm like Mad Drops for life. I already was, but now it's like solidified. So we were hanging out the Mad Drops crew a lot. It was just a fun day. At one point in the afternoon, we went over a bunch of people I know from Santa Monica and West Hollywood, went over to some of the courts and played rec games. Now, I did not because I've hurt my back, which we will also get into in my DUPR journey, but I watched, so that was fun. And then we went back, saw the ends of the Flame match, and then played a little bit on Championship Court. Now, I had no choice but to just forget about my back injury and play a little on Championship Court. Now, the problem is, while I was watching everyone else play, I had my third canned margarita. So 1 will get you a little tipsy. 2, you'll be like, okay, we're good. And 3, you're like, oh, time to go home. But instead, I was like, time to play pickleball on Championship Court. So I tried my best, you guys. I tried my best, and I had fun, and it was a real, like, core memory. I feel like I'm going to be, like, in my 80s and be like, remember that time that I was playing pickleball on Championship Court at Lifetime Fitness in San Clemente. So what a day. That was an amazing day. Now, I was supposed to skip Sunday. And instead, I was like, there is no way in the world I'm going to skip Sunday when the Mad Drops are playing the Sliders. The Mad Drops, my team, have already lost to Brooklyn against who has AJ and Rafa. So AJ and Rafa beat QD and Hunter, which is like not a great win. Ugh, I can't wait to talk about Hunter Johnson too, you guys, because I kind of glossed over that from Friday before I got to Saturday. So yeah, Catherine and Jade lose to Rachel and Jackie. Rafa and AJ beat QD and Hunter. And then Hunter and Jade beat Rafa and Jackie. And then AJ and Rachel stomp on Catherine Parento and QD. This was a bad loss for the Mad Drops and a really good win for Brooklyn. And I think a moment for the Mad Drops to reflect because their weaknesses were on display. Catherine and Jade versus Jackie and Rachel is one of the closest matchups you can have in terms of play style, in terms of level, in terms of chemistry, in terms of energy, all of that. Rachel and Catherine are like new partners, very similar in that they can be aggressive, dominant players and also like solid backup players. Same with Jackie and Jade. So it can really go either way. So Rachel and Jackie take it. And I think next time the Mad Drops play Brooklyn, they have Jade and Catherine have to win their match, period. Point blank. I think Brooklyn has better mixed teams. Jackie and Jade have to win that matchup. So that was a super fun match to watch. Definitely a highlight match. And then Saturday, amazing, super fun day. Sunday comes around, and I'm like, there's no way I can skip the Mad Drops versus the Sliders. Okay. There were great matches all weekend. Like, surprisingly, I was kind of like, I don't know if we're going to have that many great matches this week. Whereas, like, some other tournaments, we also, like, kind of had a bunch of, like, blowouts. But all, like, the Heart Eights showed up. The Flames started to look like a team. So we got more close matches than we thought. But I was like, I have to see the Mad Drops versus the Sliders. Because that is a very important matchup looking at the playoffs. Like, two contending teams. So Catherine and Jade beat Paris and Leia. Expected. Andre and CJ beat Cutie and Hunter. Expected. I think Andre and CJ are the best men's doubles team. Trying to think. Yes. If J-Dub shows up at peak J.W. Johnson level, he and Augie might be better, but CJ's on fire, and I still believe Andre at any given day could be the best men's doubles player. Then we have Hunter and Jade beating CJ and Leia. Hunter and Jade are like such a good second team. The problem is Cutie and Catherine aren't a great first team, so they lose to Paris and Andre. Expected. Now, we go into the Dream Breaker, and this is where it gets crazy, you guys. So, as we said, the Mad Drops have an amazing Dream Breaker team. But in the beginning, it's kind of like split. Like, Hunter and Q and Catherine aren't doing their jobs as singles players. So in walks Jay Kawamoto, and she's like, don't worry, guys. I'm here to save the day again. I do it every time. I am the greatest number 4 singles and a Dream Breaker player in the history of the universe. And she steps up there and she takes 4 off Leia. Completely turns the momentum around. And the Mad Drops go on a run. But then the Sliders go on a run. But then ultimately, at the end, Hunter gets Q up 1, then CJ gets a point, and then goes back to Q. He gets another one, and then he ends up getting another one and winning. But it's going back and forth, and there's like one point that if CJ gets it and the momentum swings to them having a tie or a game point, disaster. Like, Q has to do it then, especially because Paris has been beating Catherine the whole Dream Breaker. So Q is able to get it done, and the Mad Drops really needed that win. Taking a loss to the Sliders and Brooklyn would have been bad for them. Now, what made this very interesting, this matchup, is that Hunter Johnson and Paris Todd, Pickleball's golden couple for a long time, have broken up. Now, that's their personal life, fine. But the vibes were definitely vibing. There was no, like, they were not interacting. It was very different. Paris was very, like, controlled. Paris, like, on the sideline, giving nothing, you know, screaming a little bit in her matches. They never met. They didn't play off against each other in the mix, which I think would have been fun, but for the best for both teams. And then Hunter, though, I think shows his emotions on his sleeves a little bit. On Friday, Friday when they lost to Brooklyn, Hunter did not look like him normal self. Like, he was playing, he was off. Q was like having issues with his paddle because he has a new paddle, and like those boys were just off. And I was like, this is not a good sign for the Mad Drops. Their men are not showing up, okay? But Hunter just felt like he seemed a little bit defeated. Like, he was in his feels. You could kind of tell. Like, he would give up on balls, like, just not his style. And that kind of, you know, it fixed itself a little bit on Saturday. But then in the Sliders match, he was like over the top animated. He always is, but this was like more. Like, if he had a good point, he would be like, you know, celebrating even more. Like, I think he was like taking the opposite view of Paris. Like, he was like building himself up. He was the star. He was like kind of showboating. And it was a really, really, really exciting match. After that, I had to leave because I was playing in a tournament that afternoon, which is insane. Like, I don't know why I do this to myself. So I didn't get any like inside scoop gossip about what happens next. But what we do see is we see the Utah Black Diamonds beating the Brooklyn Pickleball team. And this is when the men being there as a sub kind of shows up. So Rachel and Jackie beat Elise and Genie. Connor and Tyler beat Rafa and AJ. So that should happen. Then Connor and Elise, their number one mixed team, beat Rafa and Jackie. And then Tyler and Genie actually lose to Rachel Rohrbacher and AJ Kohler. I think from this, AJ should be on a team. Like, Rafa's hot and cold, but AJ he should be on a team. Something that I've always been following, because I've been following pickleball for a while, when AJ was like top 5 player, he makes questionable decisions and he oversteps in mixed and doesn't always, he's not clutch. So I was like watching this and I was like, what's AJ going to do? And like, AJ was playing so well. You couldn't speed up at his body, which has always been a case with AJ. He was making good choices. He was just like in control of the court, in control of the kitchen line, getting to the line, not being fazed by mistakes. Very impressive. If I was a team, I would be looking at AJ. But again, the issue is age, upside. Do you take an AJ Kohler or do you try to find a Ryan Fu, who might be amazing next year? You never know. But then, so that ties it up and we go to the Dream Breaker. But the Black Diamonds are able to pull out a huge win and win 21-19. Really close, really exciting match. This is kind of one of those situations where the men on the Black Diamonds are better than the men on the Brooklyn. But we have to ask ourselves, would it have looked different if Deckel and Riley were there? Quickly, at the end of the day, the Flames play the Mad Drops. In comes Jessie Irvine, and Genie Bouchard is on the bench. So Jessie just saw the Flames get a big win the night before, and now she goes out there and has a lot to prove. She cannot be like, I don't have to play with you, essentially because you're not that good or not that trying, and then come back and not play well. Well, Jessie and Alex Walker smush Catherine Parento and Jade Kawamoto. Now, anytime that Jessie beats Catherine, even if like Catherine's team is better on paper, I'm never surprised because like Jessie is Catherine's number. They played together for a long time. There's no love lost there. And sometimes when like experience and history come into play, you never know what's going to happen. And then on top of that, Jessie plays with Tyson, as she does, and they were able to beat Hunter and Jade. And that's actually a really good win for them because Hunter and Jade are a great mixed team. Now, honestly, like Jack Sock and Tyson should essentially beat QD and Hunter right now. Jack just hasn't been delivering what he needs to. It's just, even with Alex, who's like a newer player, he shouldn't have lost 2-11 to QD and Catherine. He just shouldn't have. And then the Mad Drops just absolutely demolish the Flames in a Dream Breaker. So this is what I want to talk about, and that's the Flames. What should the Flames do? Now, a lot of people are saying Jessie's going to ask for a trade. Can she do that? I don't know. So you have a real question coming up for the Flames. Looking at the team dynamic, do you keep Jessie and play Alex and Jessie? And when a Dream Breaker comes up, you sub in Genie. Now, I know Genie for Jessie. Now, I know that there's consequences to that where Jessie would be out of the next. So it has to be done very strategically of when to do it. But if I'm the Flame, I don't get rid of Jessie. I play her with Alex. I give Alex touches. Like I give her reps and I let her be good. And we keep Genie for, her platform. That's just my suggestion. And then I talk to Jack Sock and I say, hey, Jack Sock, you are supposed to be like the first great pro pickleball player turned to pickleball. And I knew that it's not as easy as people think, but he has really not shown up the way that now she's chewing on my sweater to get this ball, but she's driving me crazy, so I don't know what to do. Here you go. Let's talk about the top 3 teams that were at this tournament. Columbus Sliders, extremely well-rounded. Andre and CJ are huge assets. And Paris and Leia are super solid. Paris and Leia, I don't think, though, are going to consistently beat the other top women's teams. I do think Andre and CJ will, though. And I think they both have potential of winning their mixed matches. Leia and CJ, I think, need to get a little bit more consistent with each other. And in the Dream Breaker, the women have to deliver. Like, they have to get a lot of their points because neither Andre nor CJ are singles players. That being said, they both can play singles well. Okay. Then we have Brooklyn. We couldn't really get like a good read on them with AJ and Rafa subbing, but I still think regardless, there's a Dream Breaker issue here. So what happens when you have 2 teams, or when you have a team that has an issue with the Dream Breaker, is that mixed matchups are so important. So let's look at, like, if Brooklyn or the Sliders play the 5s. They don't want to go to Dream Breaker with the 5s. And they have the potential to win other matches. So let's say I'm Brooklyn and I'm playing the 5s. I just let it be that Annalie and Megan or Mari are going to beat Rachel and Jackie. Do I think this is necessarily true? No, but it's Annalise, so you kind of just assume in women's doubles. Then you have Deckel and Riley. They very well could, and in some ways should, beat Zane and Will. Now, this is an example not based on statistics, based on more like theory, because Zane and Will have been playing very well this season. But let's look at last season and just whatever, other tournament results. Then you have mixed, going into mixed. So let's say that we're saying Annalie and Will are going to be tough. If I'm Brooklyn, I do not want to go to a Dream Breaker. So I need to win both mixed matches. I put Deckel and Rachel against Annalie and Will, and they have a very good chance at winning. And then I put Riley and Jackie against Zane and Megan or Mari, and they have an even better chance of winning. Now, if I'm the 5s, I do the opposite. I snag that win from Annalie and Will against Riley and Jackie, and I push it to a Dream Breaker, and I win in a Dream Breaker. This is why it gets a little crazy when one team gets to choose the mixed matches the whole time during the playoffs. Like, maybe it'll change this year. I don't know, but who chooses the mixed matchups should always be random. If I'm the 5s and I only play Brooklyn once and I get to choose the matchups, that's not really fair. Who gets to choose it? I get to choose matchups. I talked about this earlier, but I think it should be random because I never trust that these tournaments aren't rigged. PPA has been rigging their brackets for years. That's just commonly known. Now, the bad drops have an opposite problem, but it might be a better problem. So the Mad Drops have 4 teams that could win, but aren't guaranteed to win. So let's say you put the Mad Drops up against Dallas. The Mad Drops have to find a way to steal 2 games and go to the Dream Breaker and hope they're better. So let's say somehow, some way, Catherine and Jade are able to beat Tyra and Georgia. It's possible. And then we have Hunter and Q. Can they beat J-Dub and Augie? It's possible. Then we get into mixed. And this is where it becomes tricky. Hunter and Jade could, in theory, beat Tyra and Augie. And then I think Q and Catherine, I don't know if they beat Augie and Tyra. It's just a mess. But all the Mad Drops have to do is win 2. When you get into a playoff situation, and let's say you're doing best of 3. Let's say they make it all the way and they do best of 3. I would rather be on a team that it has a good Dream Breaker team than not, because I think it's hard to win 3 matches 3 times or 2 times. But I think it's a lot easier to win 2 matches and win the Dream Breaker. I don't know if any of this is making sense, but the question is, can any teams really compete with the Shock or the Flash, who have 4 teams that can win any game and both strong Dream Breaker teams? We'll find out. So that was my weekend. That was so fun. Before we move on quickly to my DUPR journey, we'll just touch very, very briefly on what's coming up this weekend. New York, July 3rd to July 6th, another tournament. I'm excited because I finally have like a weekend off. I know it's July 4th weekend, but I have a weekend off to just like really like be horizontal and watching, which is my favorite thing. We have the Hustlers, the Sliders, the Squeeze, Miami, Pickleball Club, the Hogs, Brooklyn. So out of these matches, probably, we're going to get to see the new Carolina Hogs team with Etta Tuanatoa on it. So they're going to get to play the Sliders, the Orlando Squeeze. They get to play some good teams. Brooklyn will play the Orlando Squeeze. Squeeze will play the Sliders. Brooklyn will play the Sliders. There's some questions in here. I think the Squeeze need to have a good weekend to solidify. I think the Sliders and Brooklyn will both have good weekends. Miami needs to have a good weekend to hold on to their spot so that they don't have any questionable things coming around from any of these other teams right below them. And we'll just keep our eye out on the Etta Ben Johns partnership and how that is vibing. It'll also be the first time we have Roscoe. So it's like a new Carolina Hogs team. So that will be really fun. So that's MLP, you guys. So fun. I cannot suggest anything more than going to a live tournament, especially MLP. It is way more fun than PPA. Just trust me. But this MLP tournament and this PPA tournament may have killed me. I've been having some back issues for months where like during the day I'm fine, but if I'm laying horizontal and I cough, I get like shooting pains in my lower back. So I've been trying to deal with it and but really have I no, like stretching, taking Advil, whatever. And I've tried to get like body work done, like special sports massaging, and that didn't help. And then I go to PPA tournament and I sit on that concrete for 3 days. And the day after, like one of the longest days, I woke up and like my whole shoulders were my ears and I had to push everything down. I'm like, oh my God. But then I play on Tuesday after that and I play lights out. I'm like, this is amazing. Then we come into the MLP tournament and I've signed up on Sunday for women's doubles and mixed doubles. I don't know why I did that. Because I have FOMO, honestly, because someone asked me and I have FOMO. So Friday I go all day. Saturday I go all day and we're out. We're at the PPA tournament till it gets dark. I mean, at the MLP tournament till it gets dark. Then we have to go meet up with Jen's sister. We're staying with them. And then the next day and the whole day Saturday, my back is in so much pain. I can't bend over. Definitely can't cough. Like it's a disaster. So I'm like, I text the tournament director I'm friends with, and I'm like, listen, I can't, we have to drop out of women's doubles because Jen doesn't care if we drop. She's playing mixed anyway. We can stay the next day and watch the Sliders Mad Drops, which was like the best match I've watched live in a while. And then I'll go play mixed doubles so I don't have to bail on my mixed doubles partner. I'm an idiot, you guys. I go to this tournament. I am in so much pain. My back is hurting from the jump. I'm fighting through the pain, but I'm not moving well. It's making everything else more difficult. And I'm like, what am I thinking? So we're playing 4-0. I'm like, I usually play, I guess for mixed, it can go back 4-0 or 4-5, depending on who I'm playing with. And then in women's, I play 4 or 5. But yeah, I think I'm definitely better at women's than at men's because I do, and then mixed because I think I have a hard time figuring out how much to give to my men's partners, how much I should take. I want to give them free reign, but then I don't also want to put all the responsibility on their shoulders. So I struggle with that. So we're playing 4-0, and the first 4 teams that we play, we just blow through. And I'm like, okay, great. My partner's really good. I'm like, great. But the problem is we played the 4 worst teams first. And this was when my back was still doing well. So then we go in and we play the team that ends up winning gold, and we lose to them kind of badly. And I'm like, shit. But I'm like, it's okay. It's 1 loss. We were getting cocky, whatever. Then we play another team, and we lose to them. And I'm like, oh my God, what I can't move. I'm making stupid mistakes. I'm hitting up, like, I am distraught by how badly I'm playing. So then we play one more team and I'm like, okay, we can beat this team. I know these players. I know I can beat them, and we lose. And I'm like, God damn. Like, I just took 3 losses to people with similar DUPR scores than me. And my partner's like a 4-1, so he's higher than me. So I'm like, okay, there goes my DUPR. But I'm like, okay, we won 4, we lost 3. Then, though, we made it to playoffs. So you're probably like, yeah, you make it to playoffs. And I'm like, okay, this is bad for my DUPR, though, because I'm getting 2 extra matches that day that I'm going to lose. I mean, I was going to try to win, but ultimately I lost both of them. And the last match of the day was so frustrating because 100% we should have won. So they go up, we're up in the beginning, then they go up, and then we tie it up 11-11. They call timeout, they come back, they get the ball back. The guy on that other team's serve was so illegal, which makes me want to touch on something from MLP. These high serves are crazy. Like, CJ's serve is crazy. What are we doing now? Like, just keep calling him. Like, they'll give him a warning and then he'll change it for one and then he'll go back. It's like, no, we have to, these serves are crazy. So anyway, this guy would like start down and then he would leap up and hit his serve so hard, but with topspin because he's leaping up over it. I mean, side spin, I don't know. So I miss a return. My partner misses a return. Then we play a point. We get one back. I'm like, they somehow get up 14-11. And I'm like, okay, timeout. We come back. I'm like, all I have to do is return the serve and see what happens. And of course, he hits like insane serve and like, I can't even make it. So we lose that match. And I'm pretty bummed because it would have been nice to walk away with a bronze. And it would have been nice to walk away 5-5 instead of 4-6. So now I'm going to take a massive DUPR hit. And it's probably going to wipe out all the progress I made on my other 2 tournaments. And what's upsetting about it is I put myself in this situation. If I'm going to take this DUPR journey seriously, like, I can't play tournaments that are going into DUPR while I'm injured. So I need to get an MRI. I need to take a little break from pickleball, but I'm flying out on red eye tonight to go to where it all started, where this whole pickleball journey started, where all I do is play pickleball, where we play pickleball like 6 hours a day. So I don't really know what I'm going to do for that. I already have people texting me like, oh, should we get our own court? Or should we play with everyone else? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh. So we'll see what happens there. But I deleted my DUPR app because I need to protect my peace and my mental health for the next few days while I rest up from crazy June. And I don't need to get any notifications that my new scores are in. I'm just going to ignore it. And then I'm on all these group chats now, like, where we're recapping, where people are like, oh, like talking about the tournament. And I'm like, I have to leave this chat. Like, I have to pretend like that tournament never happened. So this is how bad it's gotten. A tournament that means absolutely nothing, that I was injured playing and I shouldn't feel bad. I'm so upset by how badly I played. I can't put it out of my head because I feel like it's taking away from a lot of the hard work I've done. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break from tournaments for like 2 months. Let my reliability go down and like practice more. I don't know, like, I need to practice more. Like, practicing 1 or 2 times a week isn't going to make me better. That being said, there are multiple tournaments coming up in the next couple months that I have penciled in on my calendar. So TBD on that. I might have to enter some 3-5 tournaments. And that's kind of where I am, is thinking that I might just need to go snag some easy wins, like, for my confidence. Yeah. Anyway, last note about MLP and PPA. Where is DJ Selkirk? The new DJs are lame. DJ Selkirk was a vibe. He played bops. He was legit. And now he's gone. Where is DJ Selkirk? Okay. I hope everyone gets to play a lot of pickleball during this holiday weekend. Pickleball is probably the best thing about America right now. So keep that in mind. Please follow me on Instagram, Obsessed with Pickleball. To everyone who has mentioned to me that they listen to my podcast that I didn't know listened to it and they said they like it, that made me so happy. I like want to cry. Like, it's just so nice. This is hard. It's hard to find the time, and I'm just trying to be consistent, and hopefully just keep getting better and better. So thank you so much. Follow me on Instagram, Obsessed with Pickleball, TikTok, Obsessed with Pickleball Pod, Please like and subscribe to this. Comments would be great. Spotify or YouTube. And I will talk to you guys on the next one after MLP New York. All right, see you then.